everybody, and welcome to the Purls and Pyrs podcast. I am your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine, on Ravelry, Instagram, Pinterest, all the social medias. And for returning viewers, thank you for coming back, and new viewers, thank you for checking me out. I hope that you enjoy. So today I've got several finished objects, and I have many new cast-ons. So let's get started. So today is July 2nd, 2024, and I figured I'd just do a quick throwing my camera up on the top of my desk just to make things easier. FYI, it's really hot in my office right now. It's not super hot outside, but the AC hasn't kicked on yet in here. So it's just really muggy, and it will be until it turns on. And when I have my door shut, the thermostat is actually in kind of a place where, I don't know, it doesn't trigger if like the heat's not coming out of my office. But anyway, long-winded explanation. And to add to my heat in my body, I'll just drink some hot coffee. That'll be good. All right. So, finished objects, I have some socks. So these are finished object number one. They are my Spoopy socks. The main color is Spoopy from Jinx Yarns. This was one of the last colorways I think that she came out with before she stopped dyeing yarn. And it was several years ago at this point. But it is a black and then two different variegated stripes, self-striping yarn. So this one is a green purple, and this one is a red orange black speckled self-striping, and then it was solid black. So what I did is I took some Midnight from Knit Picks Felici undyed, and that's what I used for the heels and toes to contrast. I do have two socks there, and they're pretty well matched. So I was very happy with how they came out in terms of matching the stripes. It's just a vanilla sock, no pattern really, because when I use self-striping, I kind of don't want a pattern. But yeah, so another set of socks for my sock drawer. I do need to weave in the ends, but otherwise they are done. FO number 2 is another pair of socks. I know, right? I swear, this year I've kind of become a sock knitter just by virtue of not knowing what to cast on next. So I have a lot of sweaters on the needles, but I'm a little bit kind of torn with indecision when I finish things, and rather than casting on another sweater, I just kind of cast on socks while I'm thinking about it. So this also freed up 2 pairs of sock needles. So you'll see there's new cast-ons that are also socks. And a lot of what I've finished this year has also been socks, which is weird. Very not like me. But it's okay, because my sock drawer really needed some more socks. I'm not sure if I'm going to call these an FO. I'm probably going to go back and fix it. So you can see it right there. This first sock I finished maybe like a couple weeks ago. And then this one, I was knitting on it at the beach, and I kind of knit further than I needed to before I started the toe. And so it ended up being longer, but I actually like this length a little more. So I may rip back this toe and just add those couple of rows on and re-knit the toe. I'm pretty sure I'm going to, but they're finished. So I'm gonna still share them as a finished object, because I'm not gonna bother to share that I ripped them out and re-knit them just for that. I think it's like 4 extra rows that I added on before I started the toe on the second one. I don't know, hit or miss, and it was very bright out at the lake, so I couldn't see very well to compare. So anyway, yeah. So this yarn is Plies and Hellhounds Marie Cutie base. It is the Because Pumpkin Spice colorway. I don't think it's meant to be a self-striping, but it ends up sort of being a self-striping, other than the part where I did the heel flap and gusset because that disrupted the stripes. But then it went back to being stripey again. The stripes are slightly different widths, as you can see, but that's totally fine. I also think my gauge was a little bit looser on that second sock because the foot is just ever so slightly wider with the same amount of stitches. So yeah, I just think I knit this one tighter. But yeah, second pair of socks done. I'll probably rip back and reknit the toe tonight, and that's fine. All right, I'm not gonna spill my water. All right, my third finished object, I'm going to back up a little bit to show you because it is my seagrass tank. Yay! So this is a pattern by Samantha Guerin, and I am test knitting it. So I believe that the test knit deadline is next week, and then I think the pattern is coming out July 10th, I believe. Sam, if you're watching, I don't know if you watch my podcast or not, I can't remember, but if you're watching and I'm wrong on the date, please feel free to correct me in the comments. Yeah, so it's a top-down tank, mostly knit in the round. Obviously, this part is not knit in the round because it's two different parts, but you knit back and forth on the back, and then you knit back and forth on the front to the bottom of the armhole, and then you join everything and you work down to the bottom. In the pattern, it calls for a folded hem. I don't like folded hems on me. I think it just adds extra bulk where I don't need it. So I did not do that. I just did a normal 1x1 ribbing. I did do the folded hem on the armhole and the neckline. I think that she's going to add some instructions on how to make the armholes fit you. I've also made my hems slightly shorter, so they called for knitting 2 inches and folding it, so you'd end up with an inch hem all around. I did 1.5 inches, so it's a 0.75 inch hem, and then this one I did even less, so it's a little bit smaller for the neckline because I liked that the neckline was a little bit rounded. So I'm gonna pause and I'll put it on so you can see how it fits. Okay, so I liked that the neckline was a little bit more scoopy. On some people it was much higher and I didn't want to pull it in that much, so I made it a little bit wider and looser. I also brought the hems up. So originally the pattern called for my size, I think picking up 140 stitches across the whole arm side, and I did 96. So a pretty big difference. So here it is in all of its glory. I feel like I'm in ballet again. Yeah, so it's really nice. I've worn it to work one day, and I wore it with like a denim skirt, and it was nice and comfortable. This is out of Plies and Hellhounds Isaac base, I think. It's the 100% Polwarth. Fingering weight and anything else? Oh, it's in the Dear Thisbe colorway. So that's a color that she did for which movie? Red, White, and Royal Blue. So yeah, that is my seagrass tank. I'm going to take it off and then I'll be able to show you like the sides and everything. Okay, we're back to Salty Air. This one is the Salty Air tee, also by Samantha Guerin, and this one is in the Yarn at Home Mom, who also doesn't dye yarn anymore, but it's a sparkly gray. I think it was charcoal or something like that. I can't recall what this colorway is. So I've shown this on a lot of podcasts at this point, but this lace motif does go all the way down on the front and the back. It's a really nice detail. Hubble's barking at something in the front yard, probably squirrels. So we're just gonna have to carry on, though he is barking. Okay, that's all my finished objects. It's a lot of finished objects this week. I'm very excited about that. So as I said, because I've finished 3 pairs of socks in the last 2 weeks, I have cast on 3 new socks. So the first one is this one. Mustache number 1. This one is for Joshua, so I asked him to pick out some yarn that he wanted, and he picked out this. This is the West Yorkshire Spinners, I think Fairy Lights colorway. It was 2 Christmases ago, because last year was Nutcracker. Yeah, I think it was 2 Christmases ago, so it's Fairy Lights. I had originally started a pair of knee socks for me, so this is Chocolate Mint as a contrast. So that's why there's so much of it unraveled here, is because this was for like a knee sock for me, and I had a very large ribbing at the top to keep them up. But they were sitting on the needles for years. So I was like, yeah, sure, buddy, I'll make it for you, and then whatever I have left, I'll make socks for me. So he wanted the contrast, so I did the same contrast, and I'm just gonna knit, off of here. I'll cut it, and then I'll probably have enough to do both of the tops of his on what was already here, so I'll just kind of wind it off onto a ball and start the leg. So for him, I do a 60 stitch sock. So yeah, I'm ready. I think I'm ready to start the regular color, but I have to count it because I usually do 15 rows of ribbing and then I start the leg. So that was the first cast on. The second sock cast on was one, I've been waiting to knit these for a long time. So this is the yarn. This is Patton's Croy in the Sporty Stripes colorway. I've had this one for probably 8 years maybe. I got it when we still lived in Ohio, so it was before we moved to Connecticut. But I was really surprised at how it knits up. So this is how it knits up. It's really cool, huh? So it's got a background of cream for all of the rainbow stripes, and then a background of tan for all the rainbow stripes, and it alternates. So I think I will do one more set of stripes with the cream, maybe, I don't know. Let's see, that might make too long of a leg. No, that's probably okay. Yeah, that's probably okay. Because Patton's Croy is a little bit thicker for, if you haven't knit with it before, it's a little bit thicker of a yarn. I would say it's like a heavy fingering, light sport weight, rather than like a traditional fingering weight. So I am going to make these legs a little bit longer because it ends up being a little larger, so it can go further up onto my calf. Usually I knit up to kind of where the calf muscle kind of comes out on your leg. And that's kind of the sweet spot of where I want my socks to hit. But if they're a little bit bigger, they can start to go up onto the back of the calf muscle. Yeah, so I cast those on, I'm not sure, maybe like a couple of days ago. Yeah. So anyway, I'm excited about those. And I really do need a lot of new pairs of socks because there are many, many of my socks that are in the mending bin. And I have been mending them slowly, but I also share them with one of the children. And so they kind of are getting worn through a little bit more quickly than they were before. And then the last sock cast on is attached to multiple balls of yarn right now. Is this one. So this is Goth Day Cake, and it is a Wool and Vine Yarns skein that I used in my Fall Frolic sweater, which was another test knit I did. It was my Rhinebeck sweater last year. So this is what I have left over. So I knit the leg of that, and then I'm using as my contrast Deny This on Marie Cutie, which is Applies and Hellhounds yarn, and this is left over from socks that I made for Josh. Okay, they're the timber. Land socks. It's a Lindsay Fowler pattern. It's one where you hold it double. So this is what I had left of those. It's quite a bit. But because I used this in a sweater, I wasn't sure I'd have enough for a whole pair of socks. And this is a base that's, I think, 55% merino, 25% mohair, and then 20% nylon. I don't know. It's a merino mohair nylon sock. So it's going to be really warm, and it does have a bit of a halo. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see it a little bit right there. It is fluffy. So it does have the nice mohair feel, and it's enough mohair that it's significant. And then Marie Cutie is a very nice hard-wearing Corriedale nylon blend yarn, so that'll be good for the heel. I was originally going to use leftovers of this, which is Black Pearl from Voll and Vine Yarns. I also used this in a sweater, but it does not have any nylon in it. It's a BFL silk cashmere blend, and I do not think that would be good for heels of socks, because heels are the part that takes the most wear, and that's where my socks keep getting worn out, not by me. So I think putting in a non-nylon heel with kind of a softer blend is just asking for a hole. So anyway, didn't do it. I think the Deny This looks really nice anyway. So that was my last sock cast on. And then I did cast on another summer sweater. I haven't worked on it very much, but Disa from the Disa's Craftwork podcast and I talked about doing a midsummer cast on. So I think she cast on some socks and maybe a cowl. And I cast on for the Slightly Sassy V by Amy Sure Makes. So this is what I have so far. It's not very much, but it's, gonna be like this, right? It's a V-neck. And so this is like the short rows to make up the back. And then I'm starting to add, I just started the increases at the front to make the little V-neck part and grow it on the side. So you can see the little raglan right there. And I think it is contiguous sleeve shaping is the method for making the sleeves on here. There is an option on the pattern for bust darts, but frankly, I just didn't want to do it. It probably would make it fit better, but I don't particularly care. I didn't want to be bothered. So let me see if I can find a picture for you. Yep, so I'm going to do a short sleeve version. According to the pattern, I will be short of yarn for my size. However, it is knit with an A-line shaping, and I'm actually going to not do that. So I'm going to do waist shaping and, work straight in the body. I'm not going to do A-line shaping at all. So I think I'll be totally fine. Also, when I've looked at projects on Ravelry, the yardage that they put in as safety yardage is like a lot. So I think I will be perfectly fine doing it with two. So I have 2 balls of this yarn. It's this one. This is Flies and Hellhounds again. It's the Lucent base. So that one has silk in it. It's the one that she's doing her club colorways in. So this is the club colorway from the Thunder of Dragons club this year. This was the second installment, which is Threregot. Hopefully I pronounced that well enough. It's Welsh. So it's supposed to be like the Welsh dragon off of the flag. Yeah, and I really love the red. And I don't have any red summer tops, so I thought that would be nice. Plus it has the silk in it, so it should be cooler for summer. Yeah, and then the last thing that I've been working on is Josh's sweaters. So this is the So Basic Raglan by Maxim Sear. It might be the So Basic sweater, but it's a top-down raglan. And I separated for the sleeves. Oh my god. This is insane. Look how big it is. I showed him and I was like, this, the sleeve, when it was not joined, was this much. I was like, this is half a sweater for me. Your 2 sleeves is 1 sweater for me. And then the front and back is more. It's like 1.5 of what a sweater, half a sweater would be. So I'm like, I'm knitting 2 sweaters here. 2 sweaters for me out of, that will be 1 sweater for him. But I'm super happy that I finally have separated for the sleeves, because this was like 534 stitches for 1 round. It's so much. And obviously it's fingering weight. So the yarn I'm using is CC's wool in the honeybee colorway. I always forget, but it is honeybee. I found the label and checked it. So I have 2 skeins of it, and my idea is that I want to get this done by Rhinebeck, because then if I run out of yarn, CC's wool is always at Rhinebeck, so I can get a 3rd skein to finish it out if I need to. I don't think I will, because I got 2 skeins and it's well over 2,000 yards. It's plenty for the size that I'm doing, with some to spare. So yeah, it's really nice. This is really showing the color well too. It's like a deep honey color. If you think of like golden honey, that's what it is. So he's tried it on. It fits great. I need to have him try it on again now that I've got a little bit under the arm, so that he can you know, see better where it's gonna hit, like under the arm, but it should be fine. Yeah, so that is going really well. And now it's just straight down the body. The sleeves are a 7x1 rib. So I may just do a couple more inches of the body and then put that on hold and work on the sleeves, so I don't have so much weight to turn when I'm turning it to work the sleeves, because once I have a huge like body of this sweater, I think it's going to be kind of bulky and heavy to manipulate a bunch. So anyway, that is in good shape. Okay, and that's basically what I've been working on. I wanted to show some patterns that I purchased as well. Knitting for Breakfast was having a sale. So I purchased 2 of their patterns. The first one is Wild Roses. And I am obsessed with this sweater. I don't know why. I think it's just so pretty. It's kind of like tiered lace. Okay. This is a much better shot because you can see it from the front. So they have it in 2 colors as they show it on the pattern page. I think this is kind of a cream and this is pink, but I want to make it all in 1 color because I think that'll be pretty. And I think for this, like that line of a very drastic color change right at the bust will like be very jarring for me, for my body. So I'm going to use this yarn. And I think it'll be really pretty in this like super soft mint color. So this is Juniper from Plies and Hellhounds on the Aran base. I got this at Connecticut Sheep and Wool. But yeah, I think that'll make the most gorgeous wild roses tea. And this is kind of a lighter fingering, so it'll be very light for summer and for the lace. I think they used pure silk, and I think that'd be too drapey. Like, it wouldn't have any shape to it. And then the other one I purchased is called Haiku. And it's also from Knitting for Breakfast. I've seen a bunch of pictures of this on their Instagram, and it just looks really pretty in any color I've seen it in. Their sample is in brown. But I think I'm going to use one of the Folklore Club, which is also the Lucent base. So like this is one of them. I don't know which one I'm going to use, but yeah. The only thing I might do is omit the baubles, and maybe I could put like beads there instead. There's only that one set of baubles, so I don't even think it's going to be a big deal if it's not there. Maybe on the neckline too. Yeah, it's on the neckline too. It's just harder to see because it's under her hair in that picture. So there you can see it. It's got like this scalloped neckline, which is really cool. And it does have baubles, but again, I don't think the baubles are super necessary. I don't think it would detract from the design at all if you didn't put them on there. So yeah, again, I'm going to do that with some Lucent. This is my only acquisition, because Gabby had a Folklore Club pre-order, just for if you missed any of the colorways from last year's club. And this was the only one I didn't get. So this is Tarask. I like kind of those smoky purples. Clearly that's my jam right now. But that Haiku tee would be really nice in this. But I also have some other ones that are already wound up, and winding up yarn is kind of a pain in the butt. It does have a little bit of kind of tan and orange mixed throughout, but it's mostly that kind of smoky purple with some dog hair for glitter. Yeah, and that's basically everything. My mom is visiting for the next 2 weeks, so yeah, we're just kind of hanging out and stuff, looking around to see if I've forgotten anything, and I don't think I have. Nope, I think we're good. So I do have another episode that I still have to edit, so I'll probably put that one up, and then I'll put this one up. But yeah, I missed a week there of editing because the kids have been home from school for summer break, and people are constantly using my computer, which is where the editing software is. So editing them to get them put up is a little bit more difficult. But yeah, I would love to get back to 1,500 subscribers. So if you like the podcast and want to share it with other people, thank you very much. I love it. Yeah, and like liking and leaving comments and stuff, of course, bumps me up, and you know, things for other people to see. I need to get better about using tags, because I think like YouTube suggests or recommends stuff based on tags, and I don't ever bother when I upload, but I should. So I would love to know if others of you make podcasts, what do you tag your podcasts as, so they kind of get to knitters? I mean, obviously like knitting and yarn maybe? I don't know what I'm doing here. I really don't, even after like, what, 8 years, maybe more, maybe 10 years. I don't know how long I've been doing this, but it's been a long time. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so I will go, and I hope you all have a great week and get time to do the things that you love. And for those in the US, if you get a day off this week for 4th of July, I hope you enjoy and aren't melting, because it's pretty hot. So, all right, until next time, see y'all. Bye.